have a little theory. Your healing might be getting stalled by your lack of self compassion. Self compassion is a very broad, it's an abstract term. And I think that to a certain extent, all of us have some ounce of self compassion towards ourselves because there's probably at least one thing that we won't do. We all have limits, we all have certain things that we do. These are ways that we show ourselves compassion. So I think in order for us to really basically be called out, let's go through some examples of things that you might be doing that would indicate that you actually are not showing yourself enough compassion in a way that could actually help you with your healing. This is really common when we are going through something long term. So, if you're dealing with chronic symptoms from a medical condition, or maybe you have long term goals, you're working towards something that you know is going to take a long time. Let's say you are trying to build strength. That's something that takes months, years. Let's say you are trying to build a business. That's something that does not happen overnight. So these things that have maybe long-term goals, it could be something that's a lifelong thing. That is where we tend to not give ourselves as much compassion and then kind of wonder why we are struggling. Let's give an example when it comes to symptoms. Now, some of us say that our symptoms are delayed, that they come out of nowhere, way after the fact, after we've done something. And so then it's really hard to pinpoint what thing we're doing that's actually causing the issues. Are your symptoms delayed, or are you just waiting until you've completed your 7 errands to check in with yourself and then notice that you have symptoms? Really hard pill to swallow, I know, but let's talk about it. If you have a to do list that's never ending, that might be a sign that you're not showing yourself enough compassion. Because if you are constantly running through a to do list, when do you have time to check in with yourself? When do you have time to even consider what you are going through, what your body is going through? So if you have a to do list that never ends, if every day there's a to do list, if every second of your day there is a to do list, if if I were to come over right now and I would see that you are constantly doing something, then yeah, no wonder you're having symptoms. No wonder it's harder for you to heal. When is the last time that you just sat down and did something just based off of feel? When's the last time you said, you know what? I feel like going for a walk. So I'm going to go for a walk right now. I feel like reading a book. I feel like sitting here and just observing my surroundings. And if you can't think of the last time, if it hasn't been this week, if it hasn't been this month, yeah, chances are that's right there in a prime example of you not showing yourself compassion. And what happens when you're not showing yourself compassion? Then you're not acknowledging how you're feeling. If you're constantly going through a to-do list, if you're never stopping and doing something based off of feel, then you're basically ignoring your body and you're waiting until you've completed everything to stop. And then you go, whoa, yeah, I'm really feeling this. I'm dizzy. I have a headache. My neck hurts. I have brain fog, whatever the thing. When chances are those things were coming up long before you noticed them. This is just when you took the time to actually check in with yourself. So that'd be the first thing, in my opinion, is to-do lists. If you are constantly on a to-do list, if you're constantly running through something, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of what your body feels, what it's telling you, then that's a prime example of how on a day-to-day basis, you're probably pushing way past your capacity, pushing beyond your symptom threshold, and having to pay for it every single day, and subsequently being stuck in this cycle of flare up episodes, constantly trying to dig yourself out of a setback. So these are things that we just have to really look to ourselves and just go, okay, maybe there's something that I'm doing that's contributing to this. So you might start with just a few items on a to-do list. Make it so short that you're just like, there's no way I can't complete this stuff in a few hours. And when you do complete that stuff, give yourself time. Actually, you might even find that that really, really short to-do list is actually enough. And it might still be too much because as you slow down, you might actually notice where and when your body starts to feel it and go, wow, actually, instead of having these 8 things to do every single day, just 3 things is enough for me. And the good thing about this is that you then start giving your body an opportunity to actually recover and actually build capacity. So this isn't about long term limitation. This is about temporarily pulling back, just like a catapult, just like a slingshot. We temporarily pull back in order to catapult forward. So keep that in mind. Next time you have this long to do list that there's just no way you're going to get done that day, anyways, and then you're full of symptoms for the rest of the day and maybe even the whole week because it takes several days to recover from this to-do list that didn't even need to get completed today and could have easily been spread out throughout the week or month. Ooh, timelines. Timelines can be very tricky because timelines can help us stay on track, but then timelines can also deceive us in thinking that we actually aren't making progress and that we actually are not headed down the right road because we've created this timeline based off of nothing. Literally, we heard that it took this other person a certain amount of time, so we assume, okay, that's the end all be all. It took Susan 20 months to build my business, so if I don't have my business built by 20 months, then I'm bad. Or, Jane, it took her 3 months to lose 10 pounds. And so if 3 months goes by and I haven't lost 10 pounds, then I suck. Just things like that. So, one, some of you are comparing your specific unique journey to somebody else's completely specific unique journey. And it doesn't make any sense. You then create this timeline for yourself. And so then when what you're doing, when you don't achieve this desired outcome within that timeline, then you're scratching everything and you're trying to do something completely different. And then when that doesn't work after that specific timeline that you made up, then you're trying to do something else. And so you never spend enough time doing. So that's one issue. You never spend enough time doing the thing that you were doing to see if it was actually going to work. And then two, you might actually be doing something just based off of what someone else said worked for them. But since when was that thing going to work for you? Does this even feel good, the thing that you're doing, or are you just doing it because Jane or Suzanne is doing it? So, timelines, scratch those timelines. It can be super frustrating because we want to achieve our goals. We want to achieve them now, especially if you're healing from something. Likely you're healing from something that was completely unexpected. Maybe one moment you were one way and then something happened and now you're this other way and you're trying to basically get back to something that you were at. And so where there's already a sense of urgency, there's already going to be a sense of just us kind of running low on patience and just really wanting to move forward. And we might be, but if we decide that after 3 months that that's the cutoff and that means that nothing was working, then it's really hard for us to just get to where we need to go when we're working towards something that is long term and is going to take a while. An analogy that I think of is being in a car and say that you are low on gas. Okay, gas is almost on E. You really need to stop at a gas station, right? You have, based off the meter, you have 50 more miles on the car before you run out of gas, right? and the place that you're trying to get to is, let's say, 45 miles away. Okay, you got 50 miles and you have 45 miles to go. So you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go super duper fast and I'm going to just get there way faster so that I use less mileage and don't have to get gas. I'm just gonna like just floor it. I'm just gonna go 90 miles an hour and I'm gonna get there super quick and it's gonna be like I didn't even use all these miles and I'm just gonna I'm not going to have to go get gas. But we're not considering the fact that you're going to go from 60 miles per hour to now 90 miles per hour. That takes extra gas. So we're actually not going to get there using less mileage. It's going to actually take us more now. So even though the distance was technically closer, it was 45 miles and we had 50 miles in the car. Now that we're flooring it, now that we're going from 60 to 90, we're using more gas. That requires more gas, more energy. So we're actually going to run out sooner and the car is going to shut off because we don't have any gas. I think that sometimes we do this in real life. So we go, okay, you know what? I really only have like 50% in me right now, 50% battery. So which normally would only give me enough energy to complete 3 house tasks. So you know what? I have 5 house tasks to do, and I'm just going to do them really, really, really fast. And if I just blow through them, then I'll just get done with them quicker before the battery runs out. But it's like, you doing more and at a higher intensity, that is using more of the battery. So that's not going to work. You're not going to finish the task and you're not going to get ahead of the symptoms. You're not going to get ahead of the battery draining by doing more and more intense. What you're doing is you're just using up the juice faster in a different way. So I think that is another way too where we're not really showing ourselves compassion and we're just going, okay, I need to get this thing done regardless of what's going on with me because whoever said so, and it's probably nobody, it's probably the person is probably us, it's probably you that's just saying, okay, these 5 tasks need to get done right now today. And so then you're just running, you're trying to just bulldoze through how you feel. So again, ignoring what's going on with you and just hoping you'll just miraculously be okay if you do more and more intense. I know these are such hard pills to swallow. They are just, oh, it's so irritating again, especially if you are trying to get somewhere. You don't like the space that you're in. This is not how you want to be. There's just something on the other side of the fence that you just know is waiting for you, and you're not going to get there by just sitting there, right? But you're also not going to get there by running yourself into the ground every single day. If anything, what happens is as we constantly run ourselves in the ground, we stop getting up as tall. We stop straightening up as much because we're just beating, beating, beating. So if you've ever noticed that maybe over time with subsequent flare ups that you just feel that your baseline starts to be lower and lower each time you come out of a flare, you feel weaker than before, you feel more sensitive before, then that's why, because now we're not straightening up, we're not standing as tall every time we get up from the ground because we've fallen so much now that we've kind of gotten this, defeated posture, and it really does translate into everyday life where we just have less and less capacity. So the way that you build your capacity is by actually taking the time to listen to yourself. So no more crazy to-do lists. What would happen if you had one day where there was no to-do list, where all you had to do was just go with the flow and just go by feel? see how you felt, and you could start tasks without finishing them. Like, what if the goal was not to finish a task and it wasn't to complete a task? The goal was to just initiate it and see how you felt. So try that. One day you start an activity, note how you feel, and when it no longer feels good, discontinue. Now, what can I do? And I don't even mean what can I do as, okay, I need to try 13 things today. No, it's just, okay, I started doing this thing. That was cool. After a certain amount of time, now for some reason, it doesn't feel so cool. And so now I'm going to go just do this other thing that, because this is what my body is telling me might be nice to do after doing this thing that did not feel so nice. So it can be as simple as that, breaking it down one day where you just flow. It's just your flow day. See where the wind takes you. Two, no more trying to bulldoze through your symptoms. Okay. If you are running low on gas, stop at the gas station. Okay, this is not the opportunity for you to just try to floor it and get to your destination faster so that you don't have to go get gas. Go get gas. Stop at the gas station. Okay, so in everyday life, this might look like taking pauses. This might look like tabling something for another day. This might look like recruiting others for assistance. So, whatever it is, but you're stopping at the gas station. I just really wonder if we started to show ourselves more compassion, if this would actually enhance our body's abilities to heal. Because then we might be able to actually know what our body needs, give our bodies what we need in the moment, and make have this balance of getting these things done that supposedly need to get done, and then also just honoring our bodies and what they need. All right, that's my little theory.